The classic PM question is, if you are product manager of blah, 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 what feature would you launch? I can tell you there are two type of person. One type of person will be out of the interview loop right away, will not be hired. The other person will at least get to a second level and then from decide among others and if see the person stand out. So the type of person who will not get the job guarantee is a person who actually answer the questions right away. Oh, I think we will launch a feature, blah, blah, blah. Because that idea is cheap. Like everyone can come up with ideas. ChatGPT can come up with ideas. That's not product manager's job at all. Hello, this is Anya from San Francisco. Now I'm founder and CEO of Taylor AI. We use AI to pick clothes for busy men. So if you hate shopping or laundry, but you are not celebrity, no worries. Now we have AI to pick your outfit to tell you what to wear every day. But the best part is that we also offer circular fashion, which is we rent clothes for people. So $100 people get to wear 10 clothes per month, so they don't have to do shopping or laundry. And people get feedback, so then we build AI on top of that feedback and help fashion brand to reduce future waste to support and save the environment. Before that, I was head of products at Meta, eBay, and Target, and help you Facebook, Instagram shoppings, and senior director at McDonald's, build out food delivery business similar to Uber E and in-store technology. Head of product for Target, help them to build new technology, mobile tablet, e-commerce business here in Silicon Valley. I'm excited to share more.
Yeah, your career is very impressive. If anyone has a chance to connect with Anya on LinkedIn, very interesting track record, a lot of directions to go. I'm actually very interested in diving into the fashion aspect. I think more about like the insight that led to you deciding this is the because like starting a company is not like a small thing. It's similar to like the relationship to a company, and starting that is basically like marriage if you're taking it seriously. Like it takes time to like build something meaningful in that space. And why this specific space? And maybe you could walk me through like maybe the origin story of how do you come to that insight? Like what was the macro trend that you saw that you were like, okay, there's opportunity here?
Yeah, sure. I think a lot of you probably are product managers or familiar with tech stuff. So a lot of people ask me like, hey, from being a product manager or head of product becoming a CEO, what does it like? How does the same and different? We often say product manager is the CEO of the product. So what's the difference between real CEO and the product manager CEO? I think that's number one, like you say, building a product at my time could be we spend 1 year or two building features or a site or apps, and that's about it, right? So yes, you might be holding on the job for a couple of years, but I'm sure there's a lot of new feature that you keep building, and then you move on to a different team and company strategy change, consumer behavior change. But being a startup founder, the number one means that you are holding on to a product for quite a while, at least 5, 7 years before you really can sell the company or go IPO. So it's quite a long journey that you have to love your product. So for example, when I started, I was working for Meta. I feel like I have a little bit imposter syndrome. I'm woman from Taiwan, immigrant in the US for 20 years. I do went to grade school like Northwestern University, and where I also teach product management there, and University of Chicago for my MBA. But I'm still a foreigner, and here in everybody in Silicon Valley in big tech company, all from Ivy League school, so I'm not nowhere special. And most of the technology leaders are all from engineer, and I'm not. I came from marketer. I was a data scientist. So I always feel a little bit imposter syndrome. Am I ready to lead this large team who are full of really smart people? So I feel like I cannot let other people to find out that I'm freaking out every day. No one need to know that. I need to look good. So I start looking at some subscription boxes like Stitch Fix that you have to buy from every single shipment. I love the part that let someone style you, but I have to buy. And there's a lot of my spaces. When I receive the box, how many times am I going to wear these clothes? Can I find somewhere cheaper than these items? After I buy the stuff, how do I pay these things? How do I wash them? After I wash, I have to do ironings and folding, and there's a lot of work. So I start renting clothes from company like Amor, Rent the Runway, or Newly. Newly is backed by Urban Outfitter, 500 million revenue per year in just 5 years. Over more revenue than the wholesale business, which they spent 30 years, 3 decades to build. But all of the women's rental company are amazing, but you have to pick. Here's 100,000 garment. Anya spends 3 hours picking, and I hate it. And I realize fashion company has designed for people who are into fashion, not for people like me who want to get ready for the day and be successful. So I start doing research just like product 101, right? And building technology. The first thing is we figure out who is a persona, who are they? So I started interviewing people and figure out who is my persona. Do other lazy women like me? Yes, there are some, but most of them, a lot of people think like me. Hate shopping, hate laundry. Turn out though, most of them are busy men. They are sales guy, executive, pastor, professors, consultants, and they hate shopping laundry, but they want to look good to get a job, get a date, close a deal. It's not about looking good. It's about looking good. They can help them to get to a next level, whatever their definition of next level is. And that's how we started.
Yeah, there's a book. He's recently on Lenny's podcast. There's an author that wrote about power. He also has a master class, but he's a business school professor and he teaches. I'll have to figure out what his name was. But the concept he actually talked about like female executives in that interview. Just said that like a lot of it had to do with dress to compensate for because I got tech bro is a meme. There's so many fashion memes that make fun of how tech bros, male technology people dress. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg, when he was under scrutiny by the public, probably had some PR team like restyle him to how he dresses the way now. He has a gold chain now. Men, for the longest time, haven't had to worry about perception, and it shows in their style. And the most stylish executives I know are always women, and I think it has to comes down to the fact that it comes down to like influence, right? It balances the scales. It shows that you're serious, you're prepared, and now I think like it's such an unlock for like men. I mean, that's something that I've noticed is like, you know, does my personal style? It's a question I think about a lot. Is does my personal style match what people expect from me at my level? Right. Am I showing up that I'm like taking the job, the responsibilities I'm given seriously? Like, yeah, maybe if I'm a college grad and I'm wearing a hoodie, yeah, they don't expect much from me anyways. And it's like, cool, just execute. But it never is about the style. And I like the insight that you had about fashion, right? I was just in Japan last week and we went to like a vintage shop and there's these used, Gucci bags, Versace, and they're still like 500, $1,000. And you can't get those prices unless you have like fans of the work, like it's art, right? And so I would love that insight of like, hey, like high fashion especially is designed for people that love fashion because that's how they justify their prices.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the color psychology is actually everywhere, no matter you like it or not. We all say, "Oh, we shouldn't judge people, judge a book by the cover," but reality is that we all do, right? Every single movies they talk about this, and you transform, and suddenly people pay attention to you. And many times it's not about looking good; it's about what really helping the psychology, behavioral science for people to change, or people to do what you want them to do, or for yourself to do what you want yourself to do, right? So, for example, we have a customer, he say, I'm a new consultant. I'm having these new clients. I want to fit in. So I want to dress like them. Why? Because I want them to tell the secret of the company. Without knowing the problem, I cannot fix the problem. So I want to look fit in with these engineers. So dress me down and but still looks but still looks like reliable and fit in and relevant. Just like we only see the movies, like the politicians when they go on the farms and they suddenly put on their jeans and roll out their sleeves and make people feel like they are relatable. The same thing, we have a customers go to conference. So we sent him a little dolphin print. He's like, what? Why? I'll give you a try. So then he went to a conference. Most of people stop by and say, I like your shirt. It become a conversation opener and the business get done. And that's what he's really care. So where we have a customer, he's I have a day night next week. Okay, we got you an extra blazer. All right, perfect. As soon as he get out of the restaurant, hey, it's a little bit cold. Here's my blazer. Putting on the lady's shoulder. He just scored his next date. So that's why he really care. So a lot of what we do is for people looking good, but it's also even more so for people to achieve whatever they want to achieve. It could be projecting an executive present. It could be showcase how they don't care, but they actually dress really nice. It could be helping them feel like I am fit in with this new role that I just about to get, or going on the interview feel like they are part of the companies already. So it's actually a lot of things behind this, like color psychology and style, and that's where we help people out.
Yeah, and the learning curve to even understand what to even do there is massive. Like, you really just like esoteric hobbies, and I put the effort in. I'm like, okay, the reason these pants aren't fitting is because the inseam's off, or because of like how fashion has always been like low rise on pants my entire life. I didn't understand like high rise, like the concept of a rise, which is like how high the fabric goes up to your belly button. I didn't know that we had a natural hip, like a natural waistline. Like we're actually not like putting like men's pants aren't designed to like go at the waistline, which is actually at your belly button line. And so it's like, but I just thought it was interesting because I'm like, I want to be taken seriously. I think the biggest job to be done for me to upgrade my taste in wardrobe. Um, and this is a really good time for this recording because that was a big part of my wife and I's trip to Japan. Is like, hey, we're gonna refresh. We're gonna get rid of all the college clothes. We're gonna. It is the fact that I want to feel like comfortable. I want the how it hangs off you, the silhouette, all those things. That requires a vocabulary, a learning curve. Is that why when you saw AI, you're like, oh, AI like fills in the gaps on competency on a lot of things. It could probably do it here, or
Yeah, so there's a reason why only celebrity had human stylists before, right? It's a real
yeah.
job. That's why people go to Oscars and people politicians have the stylists, and it's a real job and make an impact for people's perceptions. But in the old time that no one have the money, most of people don't have the kind of money to hire a personal stylist style you every day. And that's why you only see those role in Hollywood. But now with AI become more feasible, all of our customers are assigned a human stylist, but because of powerful AI behind the person, so each stylist can help hundreds of customers while people don't feel that way. That's still very good, easy for them. So customers sign up and they provide information they want to give. They could be their pictures, could be their job, could be their goals they want to achieve. And they heart some item, they show stuff that they hate. Or believe me, most of people don't know what they like. They just say I like blue and that's it. But it's okay. We will go from there, whatever they show us of their goal, which is what really matters for them. Want to get a date or look presentable in terms of commerce, want to getting more podcast followers or being an engineer. I am recent engineer manager. Now I have to go out and meet clients with our sales team, whatever the goal is. And then from there, we work with over 150 different brands from bonobos, rails, marine layers, cuts, BYLTs, and the most famous, the high quality brands in the US. But we don't work with luxury brands. We don't believe that we are in a world that we need to support brand that only care about spend most of their money in marketing. As just like you see in the short, a t-shirt probably doesn't worth $500. The reason they worth that because they spend tons of money behind on doing marketing of it. And that's not the type of brand that we want to support. We want to support a brand that are high quality. They could be well known. It could be not well known. It could be a best brand in Japan that's not even available here in the US yet, but they are very high quality. And that's the kind of brand that we work with, and we work with 150 different high quality brands. And from there, we send close to the customers and people provide feedback. And the reason today they are 30% of clothes in the world go directly from factory to landfill. It generates 10% of carbon emissions, 20% of polluted waters. And it help the industry, it contribute the industry to lose $30 billion in the US alone every year. So that's why, and the reason why that happened was because most of customers never really provide feedback. You are a brand, you design something 2 years down the road, when you designing, outsource it to big factory, they outsource to small manufacturer, and then you get a clothes, you sell to a big wholesaler, sell to small wholesaler and small retailer. After this 7 step of supply chain, and while you are designing something 2 years down the road, of course, you have no idea what customers are really looking for. So after customer renting the clothes, then they provide feedback and we make an AI out of that and help fashion brands to reduce future inventory so the work can be better.
Oh, that's interesting. So you provide a because there's people just talk about like the only way you can succeed. There's a school of thought like you have to A/B test. You need data, but there's a lot of companies that have been making billions of dollars without telemetry for the course of human history. Like where it's mostly just finger in the wind, looking at like maybe surveys at the most, right? So so with the brands you partner with, it sounds like a kind of, I don't know, maybe it's a two-sided business model from what I've heard so far, where you provide the almost like telemetry of these are jackets that are selling well, or you're getting a sense of what's in style, what's out of style. Like, for example, skinny jeans not in style anymore, and brands might need to make more wider cuts moving forward. And usually that taste comes from, I think, maybe a lot of research. And can you walk me through a little bit about like how you've refined that pitch with your brand partners a little bit more, and like how what the complications are of doing that?
Yeah, I would say when we are designing a product, like being a product leader here, we always think about like how we monetize the product, right? We think about some of the product people pay that you have to pay to use a certain version of Zoom, for example, or you have to pay and to use certain version of ChatGPT, for example. But also a lot of products, it's not the person who pay and person who use are different, like Google, right? I use a lot of Gmails or Google Maps, and they do make some money from business accounts, but a lot of money they make actually is from the data inside to on different part on advertising. What we have found was that number one, the real job to be done, the real thing, our customer, just like you open the weather app, you actually don't care what's the degree. You care if I'm going to bring the umbrella or bring a jacket going out. So that's the real job to be done. For our customer, the job to be done is not about looking good. It's about getting a job, getting a day close the deal, or whatever, getting ready for their day. They could be day nights or interview or meetings. And so the same thing what we have found was for a lot of fashion brands, they want to monetize their unsold inventory because today 30% of them goes to landfill. So instead of burning those inventory, now they find a channel to rent out the clothes on the platform. But we also found that no one like producing junk, right? So we can also be collecting those data feedback from the customer. Oh, sleeve is too long, 1 inch too long. For people who are this high end weight, for people who for the clothes that has been washed for over 5 times, it shrink or it become loose, and that's why it's too big. So we get those feedback back to them. So we found that we can be their one-stop shop. Before they produce something, they can rent it out and put it on the platform to use a feedback and then produce a sample to rent it out on the platform to see if there's what's a feedback before they mass production. And after mass production, they can rent out the unsold inventory. So while we are thinking of this journey, we realize that we are actually a data company for our brand partners. So the value we provide to them is actually a lot in those data. And I would say use the same framework like when I was designing Facebook, Instagram shoppings. Many times you are thinking your product is just a single user or two personas. For example, for Instagram, these are the user we use. Facebook with those user we use it. And the reality is that most time it's not true. Many times it's actually more than that. Hey, a famous Facebook interview question is, hey, if you are a birthday, Facebook has a birthday feature. Your friend has a birthday. You have birthday. If you are the birthday product manager, what feature would you build? And then people usually come in, okay, for my birthday is coming or blah, 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 blah. But in fact, there are multiple stakeholders, right? There's people who are having birthday. There are people who are close to the person who their birthday boys, girls, they are close friends. And then there's also birthday girls or boys, they're not very close friend who will just only say happy birthday on the platform. There are actually 3 different persona right there, and the right way to answer the question is not actually, oh, I will have launch this feature and that feature, because Idea is cheap. What they are really looking for is a logic to find out the features to what new feature should you build. For example, you should be thinking about, okay, there are three persona. And you should walk through the journey of the user journey for each persona of their pain point. Okay, for birthday boys, the pain point is that my birthday is coming, but I don't want people forget about it. But I don't want to speak out loud, but that's a little bit too cheesy. I want people to find out and surprisingly tell me, surprise, happy birthday. And right, for people who are close to birthday boy or girl, their pain point is that, oh my God, I will going to forget about the guy's birthday and I don't want to do, but oh, I want to organize events and for restaurants and, but I forgot who is living where now. People move around after COVID. Or is this guy still close with that guys and where this restaurant still open and versus this restaurant? So you're listing the pain point of different personas journey. Then you come up with selecting criteria. Again, idea is cheap. It's about selecting criteria. How would you select? Okay, the selecting criteria is number one, which pain point is more painful? Which pain point has more people with that pain point? Which pain point that Facebook probably is more relevant to solving the problem versus other people solving the problem? Like whatever your definition of a criteria, then you use the selecting criteria to find the problem that you are solving. Remember,
Mhm.
up to here, I haven't told you anything about the solution. Most of product leader or product manager make mistake because we are all day long thinking about solution. No, the best product person is a person spend half of her time or his time to think about problem. Clearly identify problem, clearly find out the selecting criteria to select the right problem to solve. Because if you solve the wrong problem, nobody care about your solution. And then from there, you can come up with different solution, which is, oh, how about a feature that remind people birthday is coming? How about a feature that's AI generate the restaurant location? How about a feature that AI generate the party list or however the things the idea you have? Then the same thing, you come up with selecting criteria. Okay, which solution can solve the problem better? Which solution take less engineering hour and sprints? Which is solution will be better fit with the future of AI? Whatever your solution criteria is, and then you pick the solution and you build it. So that's a long answer to you to answer your questions, but that's the same thing how we do here at Taylor to identify what our customer really looking for, which it turn out they are looking for one-stop shop for busy men like concierge guy or gadget guy behind a superhero for them. And that's how we find out, oh, our supplier actually are looking for one-stop shop to know what people are looking for, to test out and monetize their unsold inventory.
Yeah, I had this insight. I'm not over 8 years. My guest list usually depends on of the time, so I'm getting a ton of different like perspectives on how AI is changing certain industries. And the core insight that I got was that agents have always existed. It's just the price has gone down significantly. Like the haberdashery or the tailor shop, like where I'm just thinking like the British suit culture where you it's very like elite aristocratic people. They could afford to have someone like tailor their clothes to them, make sure that the silhouette looks nice. And that was a luxury. And then not until recently, some companies BYLT built and I mean Uniqlo, fantastic brand, like figured out how to create pretty at scale style staples. And but that's different than that's more like a facilitator than like an agent or orchestrator of your style. Like you still have to decide like which of those staples like fit you. And now it's like the cost of like basically having your own tailor like stylist, like you said, like it's a real job, has gone down to have that like that agency. And the current like knee jerk reaction you mentioned, like the biggest mistake product managers make is like solution, 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 is that they see all these capabilities and their first response of like, what, how does the product manager job change is prototyping. Cool. I'm going to start making my own stuff. I'm going to start like making like art, like actual solution artifacts. I don't need to like wait on my designer anymore. And I'm like, my gut's like, I haven't figured out how to articulate it yet, but like everything you just said there, when Meta's evaluating PMs, like a PM's a very big responsibility. You're managing millions, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars in capex spend to like invest in things. It's a stewardship job. You're impacting like the balance sheet effectively with your decisions. Like it's evaluating your ability to extrapolate a problem and like simulate the different scenarios, see the framing outside the frame. Because if you have that right, then you could do 100 different solutions. This is more me thinking out loud. I just don't think that the answer to what has the PM job change is you got to be like building more, or if anything, that's building more is scarier. It could waste more money, right? You're like, yeah,
Yeah, I love your observation because I have the same thing last week. So I have been told my team like, hey, we should be building something to help on there's some business objective we want to achieve. So then I asked our product manager intern to think about that solution to come up with some of the framework and to see how we can solve that problem. So the intern come back and super excited. Hey, I use this vibe coding. I code feature and that feature. I think I have these three features that's it's done. It's so good. So my feedback was ideas. This is how exactly at Meta we don't hire people. We don't hire people. The classic PM question is, if you are product manager of blah blah blah, what feature would you launch? This is a question.
is it worded as a trap question? I just want to, sorry to
No,
interject here.
every single product companies that is probably like more established product company all have the same question for their product manager interview, which is if you are product manager of certain thing, what feature would you launch? And I can tell you there are two type of person. One type of person will be out of the interview loop right away, will not be hired. The other person will at least get to a second level and then from decide among others and if see the person stand out. So
Mhm.
the type of person who will not get the job guarantee is a person who actually answer the questions right away. Oh, I think we will launch a feature, blah, blah, blah. Because that idea is cheap. Like everyone can come up with ideas. ChatGPT can come up with ideas. That's not product manager's job at all. So the same thing for my intern too. I'm so excited because in the old time they come up with idea, but still the idea doesn't look real. Now they can write coding like here is the three things. I don't care. Why? Because it's almost like there will be a million possibility, and you are asking for how about this, how about that, how about this, how about that. And luckily, you might get one and then you done, you is actually hit the right target. But you might unluckily actually done 100 or 200, 5,000 times before you get it right. Right? That's not what product manager do. It's not idea guy. Then all we need to do is just whatever machine and we one click come out with one idea, another click come out with another idea. No, product manager job is to use framework and logic to mitigate the risk by finding the best potential solution or best problem to solve or best solution to solve the problem. So I go back to my product intern and that become a lot easier trap now because now with AI and vibe coding, you feel real because in the old time you are like, I have these three ideas and no, then you have to go convince your engineer and designer and now they will challenge your logic. But now if you can skip all of this by doing that. So my feedback was number one, if you think these three features can be live in production without any effort from anyone from the Scrum team, you should go do it. That's the right way to do. Just come up with an idea, test with the customer, and see how it goes. But if any of these features does need engineering and design and tracking and analytics, and you do need hours from other people, which means money of the company, then I suggest you go back to the drawing board and use logic. And I say, okay, for example, my ask to you is which feature can potentially go viral. And I expect you to go research on the feature that went virality before and come out with the principle that why those features went viral. And that become your selecting criteria because one of the criteria is the feature has to go viral. And go back to the framework that I use, which is come up with a selecting criteria and pick the selecting criteria and come up with and pick the pain point that fit with your original persona. That persona before that was the goal, company missions that you want to achieve. The reason I say so, using a simple analogy, is that Google and Facebook both has a shopping team, but Google's mission is organizing the world's information. Facebook, Instagram, Meta's vision is bring the world closer together. So when both of them make shopping, Google Shopping organizing the world's information. So all it was actually price comparison. You all go on Google Shopping is basically price comparison between different company, right? Because organizing the world's information, it was their mission. While Facebook, when you see Instagram shopping, Facebook shopping is bring the world closer together. So was your best friend selling something from his or her bicycles from the backyard. It was the influencer who you support and you like, and it could be big, could be small, tells you his or her point of view on a certain product because it brings closer to the world together by having community share something, having your friend and family or trust influencer to share something. So exactly the same goal was, hey, launch your shopping team and actually sell something, but totally different product because it's different mission of the company.
Wow, I like yeah, personal example from like my side, just like compliment like yours is it's not like I'm a designer by training and actually went back into design as when like I did the product management stint and then AI got good and I just thought, oh, this is like the best time to be a designer because all the limitations that made the job hard to like be strategic have basically been taken away. Like you're able to stay on top of the admin and like be more strategic. And it's not like a secret that like between design and engineering conversations when the PM's not in the room is that if they're like an ideas person, it's like I put like it's not that valuable to be a designer with no design skills, right? Or be an engineer with no engineer skills. Like just because you have an MBA doesn't mean you should be dictating how we architect the system or what buttons and copy we should be using. Like, why do we have you here? Like, we could do that. Like, this isn't like a partnership. If like you're not providing something like uniquely positioned to like, help the team. And when AI got good, I started like challenging my product partners, not just through like example and just I handle all my delivery work now because I all the documenting decisions, breaking them up into tickets, handling UAT user acceptance testing. I get to stay on top of that now. But by doing so, it's made it harder for me to like think bigger. And that my current PM, he rose to the occasion and like we get into a one-on-one and he's showing me like financial modeling, which has always been a part of the PM job. But like honestly, how many PMs actually have the time to do thorough financial analysis if they have the skills? And he was like showing me these really interesting insights about like the profit margins of like this business unit that we were like driving and I'm like, oh, that changes a lot of my assumptions about how we design this. Like we need to actually think like bigger about how we distribute this. And I'm like, that's like the power of AI. It's not like replacing people. It's actually now as a PM, you could be more strategic and actually explore like financial modeling, do more research on the legal side, like extrapolate out like the problem outside the problem. I'm going to like double click on something you said at the beginning of this interview because I think like your background is uniquely positioned to answer this better than anyone else. You mentioned you didn't feel like you fit in because most of the product leaders were very technical. But you drove a ton of business for like McDonald's, you drove a ton of business like Facebook shopping is like your experience has been the app isn't like the feature isn't like the product, it's distribution to something real, right? And that's actually most tech companies, right? It's accessing a service through the digital interface, not the my current role as of this recording is really like the first like real tech, like SaaS company where you're selling licenses that I've ever worked for. Like everything else was like accessing financial services or accessing logistics services. And all the product teams I've seen like a cohort of product people fail in each one of those businesses because they think like, oh, the website's the product. Like, how does your unique background, what have you learned moving real physical objects through product leadership that has helped you like come to this perspective? And
Yeah. Before I answer a question, I want to make some comment. I think that's really good observation. If people ask me the questions, when I was at eBay, my job was leading product for Latin America and Africa. I'm a lady from Taiwan, originally has been in the US for 20 years, never lived in Latin America or Africa. So people constantly ask me that question like, why are you qualified? Why did you get the job? I said, because product manager job is not using your point of view to build feature. So because I don't know what African people want. So it forced me go back to product 101. I shouldn't assume that I'm the user. I should be doing the persona and user journeys and figure out what they need. So product manager job is not building feature that you want. So it's actually perfect because I cannot pretend that I know. So I told people this story when I was working for Target. My there was another team. They are full of really cool people who love cool things and they want to build stuff that's really cutting edge. So at that time, it was more than 10, around 10 years ago, it was something very popular called Beacon. So you probably remember the time where everyone heard about omni channels. When you go to the stores, it become in store, AR, VR. You take a picture. Now the video, the ads will shows, and now you can decide if they become a omni channels and connect to each other. So they said, this is so cool. We got to do this. So they did. Imagine that how many Target store, every store layout is different. The floor print is different. Every items are put in different aisles. So they spend 6 months, millions of dollars to identify every single item's location because they found out with one single insight. And I think so we should solve a problem. The insight is mom, sometimes they go to store and they forget one thing before they get out of store. Oh, they got home, say, oh my God, I forgot my milk. Oh, that's a problem. We have to solve the problem. So then they do this giant project to localize it, figure out every single location of every item. Imagine every week how many milk and other like stuff need to put on the shelf. They all put in a location, geofencing, and realize their location and then launch a feature. Mom, you can write down what you want to buy. You go to the store, you become store GPS. You will never forget one thing. Nobody, nobody use a feature besides a product manager. Why? Come on, mama going to a Target store to get lost. It's their oasis from home. They don't want to be store GPS. They want to go to a store, wandering around and buy stuff they don't need it. They want to be inspired. It's their time to get away from their noisy kids and family and husband. It's oh yeah, I forget one thing in the store. I had sorry, husband, can you take care of kid? I need to go back to a store to buy one more milk. Say they love to go back again. They don't care they forget something. It's not the right problem to be solved. Yes, it's a problem. Sometimes they may forget one thing, but it's not big enough problem to be solved. So end of day, yes, in this case, you can actually feel amazing thing because you thought that's what you wanted. But if you don't understand the true customer persona, the value props, Target is inspire people. You go to store to buy stuff that you don't think you need it. That's why Target is successful at Walmart. So if you are taking away the value prop, then your product is just not going to be popular. The same thing, people. I last year, my company was very honored. We won American Marketing Association Best Bootstrap Campaign for the year. So I in the ceremonies and when I get the award, I give a little speech and I say, "Hey, I'm originally from Taiwan. When I came to the US, people say there's no way you can be a marketer. You barely speak English. Marketer, in my mind, however, isn't about a perfect slogan. No, marketer is someone to understand people's problem and solve it. The same thing for product manager. It's not about someone who just have plenty of idea and shipping this idea or writing code for this idea. Is fully understand the problem and solve the problem. We are all problem solver. That's what really true about product managers. So I love your comments. There are many ways to solve the problem, spend more time figuring out. And while in the old time, we don't have those time because we have to figure out this things with these engineers, these things with designers, and now we have less limitations, so no more excuse. Go back and solving problems. Deeply understand the pain point of your customer. Like in Taylor, our customers don't care about looking good. They care about looking good so that they get a job, they close a deal. hey, dress like this, you will get a girlfriend. Would you dress it? Yes, please do. So it's not about that real thing. It's like the job to be done. That what's really behind the things, the real pinpoint that people want to address.
Yeah, this goes back to like data driven versus being data informed. Rory Sutherland talks a lot about in his work, and his book Alchemy is probably one of the best books I recommend to whenever I do teach how to workshops where I teach people how to talk to customers. And I had an interesting one where I had to teach a bunch of like forward deployed AI scientists how to talk to people and extract insights. And some of the guests are like, I mean, they're PhDs in neuroscience and stuff, very smart people. And I'm like, what? But like they might be like hyper skeptical of like the psychological reason. And I'll recommend like Roy Sutherland's books to them as like further reading, as like kind of like a subtle, like, yeah, maybe a different perspective. Like you have the data, but I love the Target metaphor. If anyone knows anything about Target, they're also a Starbucks location. Like that's a product, that's a feature. Like it's a product decision. Is like cool. You get Starbucks. The carts have cup holders for your Starbucks. You're meant to spend a lot of time there, and like I also worked in like Latin America as well, and I because I spoke Spanish. I noticed, like, the PMs that, like, if it was an English context, they would have all these ideas and wanna ship things, but as soon as, like, they were dependent on me to, like, translate the insights, suddenly they were, like, way more, like, less opinionated. I'm like, "Oh, why?" Like and then it kind of surfaces that, "Oh, you weren't thinking through what you're saying in that English context, were you?" Like but, like, now that you have to, like, wait for the information to get digested and curated by, like, a Spanish speaker, then, like, your time to, like, saying an idea I am so inspired, by what you said. Like, so I really admire your conciseness and, like, the density of your answers, like, very insight, wisdom rich. So, what I'm hearing from you is that, like, a product leader or, like, a product manager I see is, like, looking at, "What do I do? AI is getting really good. Like, this is a macro shift, and, like, how do I spend my time in the first place?" And they're probably looking at, like, 2 paths forward, right? Like, the one to the right is, like, the current, like, pop culture, like, "Gotta get more technical, you gotta prototype now. We're evaluating PMs on their ability to prototype solutions," when it's like, we already have a job family for that. It's design engineering. It's like, you have people that have been making prototypes before AI, like, they could use those AI tools way faster than you now because they have the vocabulary. Or they could go left, which doesn't feel as certain, and go be more strategic and broaden your competencies. Like, to the listener who's probably feeling that way right now of like, how do I reinvent myself or evolve my operating style now that like AI makes it really easy to take meeting notes and synthesize executive summaries into nice, tidy DASI documents. Like, what's your guidance for that listener?
I think end of day is about what you were trying to say. The more and more often that I see my product manager writing a giant like 10 pages PRD and there was not really any things in it. So I asked him to take a step back. What exactly are you trying to say? Sometimes they don't know because now they just think, okay, ChatGPT can create this giant PRD for me and I can be ready for the meeting and send it to everybody thinking like, looks like I'm very smart. But in fact, that you if you haven't think through, then you haven't think through. Right. So and a lot of features are only after if you think through that really there's a problems, right? So the same thing when I was at eBay, it was before AI was really popular, and we thought that we decided eBay has a lot of engineers, so we decided to launch an AI writing for your posting. So we thought people can snap picture of this bicycle, and the AI would write everything about that and help them to post it. Then you will generate more posting for the site. But it might be the wrong timing or what, but when we launch it, actually people don't use it. Why? We discovered that because sellers, they really care if the item gets sold. So for small seller who are selling just as an individual, selling my stuff at home, a lot of these has sentiment value. For me, I really care that I want to write it correctly. I care that it will get so I don't mind spending time to actually make it right. Of course, it could be different from business seller who I have hundreds of stuff that I just have to upload, and I don't care if it sell well because I'm just an employee for the company. So what we have found was again, if you don't deeply understand the customer persona, the inside, the psychology, the job to be done, it's just very hard to build a great product. So we ship it even without a lot of AI. We spend a whole bunch of time on building out the AI and eventually ship it, but people actually don't use it. Just like we all know the agile, the framework, right? Instead of buying a car and you should buy a bicycle, build a bicycle and know if no one use a bicycle because they all work from home, then you will never need to build a car because you know people work from home. Right. So it's just getting the MVP in place and figure out the early signal that you have. The same thing for Taylor. We started with a page on Shopify with people. If you're interested, put your email in. And turned out that we do actually has a guy, he emailed us, say, "Hey, I have put my email in a month ago. Can you bump me up to the wait list?" And I ignored him because I thought it's definitely a scam. Nobody really see the Shopify side and put the email in. It's definitely a scam. But a month after he actually called me, somehow he connect me on LinkedIn and I accepted. He saw my cell phones there, and he's a real estate agent, so he's pretty used to calling people. Unlike nowadays, we all think they are scam, but he actually called me, and I actually picked up. And it was right before Christmas, and he said, "Hey, I have been on your wait list for 2 months. You guys must be really popular." No, we were just not ready at the time. And so then he said, "I'm Michael from San Diego. I really had love the blue shorts on your site." I opened our website. Yeah, there's actually a stock photo of a blue shorts guy. And so he's real. And then we went to the post office and sent him we buy stuff from the Macy's on sale during Christmas time, and then go to the post office and send him the shipment and became our first customer. So the MVP still work but still very important. You figure out what's the real pinpoint of problem you want to try to solve for people.
And I like how your business model isn't just making it a 100% AI chatbot. It's the concept of, because you have real stylists, but you basically started out with like a 100% like human stylist. I imagine this is what happened, and you can correct me where I'm wrong, but you start out celebrity stylist, and then you add like one client and then two, and then you start seeing where things break operationally. And it's like, okay, maybe we could use AI for like this recurring task. Okay, cool. Now we could add like X clients, and you just keep chipping away at it. But like there's a human curator, like there's someone who's responsible for the customer experience at the end of the day. Like you're not trying to automate away their job. You're automating the mundane so that the stylist can serve more people. Like you're augmenting, you're not automating. And I think that's like the best AI product is like my AI product, the AI products I use, and they're not trying to replace me. They're trying to like expand my capabilities. I mean, before AI got good, I've my biggest goal. I actually posted it this morning. I wanted to do weekly episodes without compromising my day job because I want to be a builder. Like I don't want to be a media guy. And to do like a serious show before AI, that had to be your thing. You don't see Lenny working like Lenny from Lenny's pod. You don't see him doing product work anymore. Like that's his thing. It's so hard. But I have all this demand, all these guests coming in, and the guests are waiting like 6 months before their show goes out. Now I have like my post production. I'm like, skip once a week. I could do two a week. I have to keep up with this demand, and AI is letting me do it while having a day job. These tools are augmenting people's ability to do more, and I think that's like the message here is like, hey, before AI, you couldn't do financial modeling. You had to like depend on a finance person, and you weren't their number one priority. You know, you had to depend on an engineer to prove something out. And yeah, I'm super stoked, and I really like your offer. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. I don't believe in the world where AI replace the humans. I also don't believe that in the world that human continue doing stuff without AI. Last year, we won American Marketing Association Best Bootstrap Campaign for the Year. We get 10 million impressions from ChatGPT. And in the award, they asked me how did we make it happen. It's basically human AI in the loop. So we start with okay, what people are searching, and from thinking about SEO point of view, what people are searching, or what are questions people will be asking, and then we use AI to come up with the early questions, answer for those things. Then we have our marketer to add some stuff. Then we have our stylist provide styling notes into the journey. Then we send it to put it on the to go send it to the customer along with the outfit. When they receive the outfit, they also get a styling note, tell them how to wear. Okay, wear this with white sneakers. Yeah. They get these notes. Then customer tend to provide feedback. Oh, this clothes is too big, or I feel like this is a bit baggy. I feel like this will probably fit better with blah blah. The AI generate content, style the marketer write something, the AI update it, stylist update something, customer update something, and the information we put it on the website automatically. So then the content on the site and on the site we also get feedback that people click or people read, and we get those data from the Google Analytics, then those feedback back to the loop so we know what people are looking for on the content. So it become a flywheel without really much human, but still you with human in the loop that make unique content to the site that we generate more traffic from AI or and so also getting more customer feedback on the real world. And that's how we were able to achieve. So I think that you're right, it's going to be always there. I also believe in the world that where in the future will be a lot of things, the limitation is not there anymore, but they're also forcing people to think differently on the business model. For example, when we are as a product manager to build e-commerce, right? In the past, we were like, hey, let's try to convert, like doing this conversion rate for the customer, which we still do every day. But I imagine more and more is going to be my agent go out to your website to buy something from your agent. It's like shoppers agents going to e-commerce company sellers agent and they negotiate, right? So just like you look at the Amazon, like before Amazon, you probably don't buy anything that's non-branded because even you go to Target or Walmart, all of those things are branded, right? So you don't get non-branded stuff. But now with Amazon, you buy non-branded stuff all day long. The branding become less and less important. So I believe that's the future too. Like the brands that they get more accessible for the AIs is going to get a lot more visibility, just like on platform like on Amazon, people doing SEO on Amazon, the same thing. So I think that we have to continue thinking about the problem, but also thinking about it's in a different world, different context. But still, I think human and AI always in the loop is not going to change anytime soon.
Anya, do you feel like there's anything that hasn't been said that should be said before we sign off? And two-part question: when you close that loop there, how can people find your work? And we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that we are all problem solvers. So you guys are amazing. You are the best time for you guys doing an amazing job. So we are very lucky in this era. People come when I was claiming the corporate world. People constantly ask me, how do I get on the executive table? I remember starting my career as a marketer. You never get on executive table because then people think about marketing in the end after they ship the product. But over time, I was able to sit on the table, and then I realized how I sit on the table as a designer, as a product manager, as data scientist, or as a marketer was because I forget about my job. What? Yes. When they know how to solve the problem, then that's the easiest part. Oh, we need to ship this feature. The feature should look like this. That's easy. Look at your job as a designer. What's the hard part? The hard part was when it's very unclear, we have a giant problem like not enough customers, or customers is not retaining, customer is not coming back. We don't know how to solve it. That's a time that is hardest. And that's a time where they require a problem solver. Not a designer, not a marketer, not an engineer, not a product manager, a problem solver. So go to the meeting, forget that you are a designer, forget that you are a PM, and really focus on thinking about what problem can be solved. Because when before I sit on the table, I was a marketer. All day long. As soon as I get on the table, I try to think, how can I get my team more budget? How can I get my team more headcounts? Marketing, promote. We should do marketing, inbound marketing, and no one care. But after I forget that I'm a marketer, now people invite me because they know I always come up with the best solution to solve the problem. But don't worry, because you are a designer, you are a PM, you are a marketer, you are an engineer. So whatever solution you come up, still going to be relevant to your department and your job. Because you just naturally, that's how you train, that's what you know. So that's my sequence of climbing the corporate ladder. So for people who want to keep in touch and want to look great and for feel confident, ready every day, go on tailor.style. That's TAELOR.STYLE, tailor.style. Use a code podcast25. You can get 25% off first month. So it looks presentable. And how if there's anyone's birthday coming, anniversary coming, gift card using a code for gift card for a podcast gift, you can get gift card 10% off. So best gift is saving people's time and help people look presentable. And I'm Anya. Feel free to reach out to me at Anya ANYA at Taylor TAELOR.ai if you are looking for partnerships, investors, or just want to grab some ideas and brainstorm about product ideas. I'm all here for you.
Well, Anya, thank you so much for coming on the show. You have a good one. Hey, listener, thanks again for listening to The Way of Product. As we power down today's session on the fusion of creativity and technology, let's solidify the energy you've gotten from our dialogue today. If you've gleaned insights or strategies that could turbocharge your projects, I have a small but powerful ask. Swing by the platform where you're hearing this and leave a review. Think of it as your digital high five to us. It's a fuel that propels this content to more creative technologists like you, amplifying the impact of the shared knowledge. So until our next interview, keep pioneering and pushing the envelope. Thanks again for lending your ears and your imagination to our community. Catch you on the next download.